Hello, everyone. Today, I am here to talk about an aspect which is often ignored in the entire recruitment or hiring cycle. This is, about communication. I'm here to talk about communication and especially why it is important to close the communication loop. And this is for candidates as well as employers or recruiters. So I'll talk about both aspects. So let's talk about candidates and their behavior. Now, as a recruiter or as an employer, you would have come across multiple instances where you reach out to a candidate. The candidate looks to be relevant. You have an initial conversation over the phone and say, okay, if you're interested, then we can set you up for further discussion either at our office or over a video call. And the candidate says yes, okay, I'm good to go. Then you go ahead, block time with your interviewers, stakeholders in office, and you also block time with the candidate. And right before the interview, maybe an hour or a couple of hours before the interview, the candidate goes unreachable. He or she is not reachable on the phone. There is no response to email communication either. And suddenly, if you are lucky, you will get a text message that, sorry, I'm unable to join the interview today. Either there will be a reason saying somebody is unwell or the candidate himself or herself is unwell. But again, there are instances where the candidate completely goes out of communication and you never hear back from the candidate at all. So my message right now are to those kind of candidates. And we see this behavior mostly, in the younger professionals, the freshers or people with less number of years of experience. For some reason, this is proven, this is proven through data that these younger candidates tend to not meet their commitment or of appearing for interviews. So my message is to those candidates, please don't do this. I don't know what goes through your mind when you commit for an interview and then you decide not to pursue it further. That at the first case itself is not advisable. But let's say if at a later point in time you have second thoughts, you have cold feet, you're not sure whether you want to do it or not, at least be professional and communicate that. All right. I know it is difficult. It is difficult to communicate something which is a little uncomfortable, which is in a way you're saying that you're not meeting your commitment. But it is much better than just disappearing. Nobody likes to get ghosted. And you send the employer, the recruiter on a wild goose chase trying to find out where you are, and that from your personal branding's perspective is not healthy. That doesn't give a very good impression about your level of professionalism. So my message to candidates who tend to be susceptible to this kind of behavior is, please think through before you commit or sign up for a particular opportunity that you want to pursue. And if you do, then at least honor the other person's time, effort, and go through the entire process if you have committed to it. At any given point in time, if you think that the opportunity is not for you, you are not interested, you would not want to pursue it for whatever reason, be upfront, communicate. All right, ideally through a phone call, but if not a phone call, at least an email or a message is the very basic thing that you can do, saying that you are not ready to pursue this opportunity further. And that doesn't require any effort. It's more of a behavior. But I'll tell you very frankly, this is a big problem when it comes to the recruiting system. A lot of recruiters face this from candidates, and it is not healthy as a practice. So my strong recommendation to all candidates is, please be upfront in your communication, choose wisely whether you want to pursue an opportunity or not, and honor the other person's time and effort. So now I spoke about the candidate side. There is a similar behavior that we see on the employer side as well. Now there are scores of instances where a candidate sends out, his or her application, resume, and never hears back from an employer, and that's not healthy. That's not the kind of impression that you would want to, give about you as an employer. So it is very important that you close the loop with candidates who are showing interest in working for you in your organization. And if that requires to put some practices in place, if you're an organization which is very large, you get a lot of applications, then it won't hurt to look at technology, putting up some mechanism for automatic emails. Most of the applicant tracking systems have that. Whenever you're rejecting a profile, an auto-generated email is sent to the candidate saying that, we regret to inform you that your candidature is not moving forward. So put those processes in place, because nobody likes to get ghosted, as I said. And that kind of closes the communication loop. It also ensures that you come across as a professional employer brand. That even though you did not take the process forward, you at least took time, some effort, some process is there, which is ensuring that the candidate is informed about his or her candidature. Similarly, if after conducting one or two or three rounds of interviews, you have made a decision to not select a candidate, please inform the candidate. This is again a very typical behavior with most organizations. When they don't select a candidate, they don't care to inform. And that is again very basic. All right. That is very basic, doesn't require too much of effort. It's more of a, of a prioritization issue, I would say. But it goes a long way in giving a very professional impression about how you look at hiring as a practice, within your organization. Now, there are some genuine situations where you might be a little undecided whether you want to offer a candidate, or you want to interview more candidates, or there might be some business situations like, the requirement is not very urgent anymore. You have to wait for a certain period of time. In those instances also, I would encourage employers and recruiters to be authentic with the candidate, rather than, just snapping out of communication and having the candidate chase you. You can be fully authentic and say, hey, you know what, either we are undecided about your candidature, we want to interview, three four more candidates and then decide whether to go back to you or not. So we will come back once we are done with this exercise. Or you can say, this role has gone on hold, either indefinitely or for a finite period of time, and we need time to get back to you. We'll come back to you in 4 to 6 weeks. Let's re-engage after that. That is much better than just going out of communication, not informing anything to the candidate. Nobody likes an open folder. The more folders which are, that are open in a computer, results in the computer slowing down. So it makes sense to close these folders once you've opened them. That will make you more efficient as well, and that will leave you with a far better employer brand in the market. So as I said, there are two aspects. The candidates as well as the employers can do a better job of closing the loop when it comes to being in touch with each other. I hope this little talk was useful. Thank you so much for your time and listening to us.